Let's talk about a feeling. You know that subtle but really deep sense of weight that so many of us carry around, a lot of the time without even knowing why. It's like this invisible burden, and today we're going to give it a name.
Seriously, think about it. Have you ever walked into a room and just felt like you needed to take up less space? And I don't just mean physically, but emotionally. That feeling where you have to quiet your own needs, maybe soften your opinions, or just kind of make yourself smaller so you're not a bother to anyone.
If you're nodding your head right now, the most important thing I want you to hear is this. You are definitely not alone. And this is not some kind of flaw in your character. Not at all. This feeling is a shared, deeply human experience, and it comes from somewhere. It's not just who you are. It's a response to something that happened, or, as we'll see, something that didn't.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we have to kind of shift our whole perspective on what trauma is. We usually think of trauma as these big, obvious events, things that happen to us. But what we're talking about today is the trauma of absence, the really subtle but incredibly powerful impact of what didn't happen.
And this difference is absolutely crucial. Obvious trauma is about the presence of harm, something bad that happened to you. But this interior neglect, it's about the absence of support. It's not some single dramatic event, but this sort of quiet, pervasive emptiness where connection and validation should have been.
So what does this absence actually look like in real life? Well, imagine this. You're a kid, you ask a genuine question, and you're just met with silence. Your curiosity just hits a brick wall. Or maybe you have this huge feeling. You're super excited or really disappointed, and it's just completely ignored, as if it never even happened. It's these small, repeated moments of feeling invisible that create this really powerful void inside.
The thing is, these moments of absence, all these little empty spaces, they add up over time. They actually build something inside of us, an unconscious blueprint for how we see ourselves and our place in the world. And lucky for us, psychology has a name for this blueprint, a name that can be incredibly powerful to finally learn.
This quote, wow, it really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's all about the scars that get left on the inside when a child feels, well, forgotten. And that doesn't necessarily mean unloved, but just unseen, unheard, and not really acknowledged in the ways that are so important for growing up emotionally healthy.
And here it is, the internalized neglect schema. Now, the key part is this. It's an unconscious belief system. This isn't something you actively choose to think. It's a deep, foundational assumption you learned as a child, that your needs just don't really matter, and that simply having them makes you a burden on other people.
So how does this childhood blueprint actually show up when we're adults? Well, it doesn't just magically disappear. It grows right along with us, shaping our relationships, our work, and our whole sense of self, often leaving these hidden scars on our hearts.
Do any of these sound familiar? That little voice in your head that tells you asking for help is just being an inconvenience? Or that automatic reflex to brush off a compliment because deep down it feels like you don't deserve it? Or that constant nagging fear of being too much? These aren't just weird personality quirks. They are the direct, logical results of a childhood where you learned your needs don't even belong on the to-do list.
This is that invisible weight we've been talking about. And honestly, the most powerful thing you can do is just to see it for what it is. Just understanding what it is and where it came from, that's the first huge step toward a massive shift.
Let's just sit with that for a second. This weight you might have been carrying around, this feeling of needing to shrink yourself, it is absolutely real. It's not in your head. You're not overreacting. It is the real and totally valid result of your experiences.
The power of giving something a name is just incredible. When you can call this feeling the internalized neglect schema, it stops being this vague, personal failure, and it becomes a specific, understandable pattern. And once you can actually see the pattern, you can start to change it. Giving it a name is the very first step to finally setting that weight down.
So, I want to leave you with this question. Now that you have a name for this invisible weight, now that you can see its shape and understand where it came from, what changes for you? What becomes possible when you realize you don't actually have to shrink anymore?